as 3 at 3. Let's get into today's 3 at 3, shall we? Presentation is the 18th of September, 2020, and I am, of course, Jon Najarian. This is 3 at 3. The disclaimer is that this is for informational and educational purposes only. That's why we provide it. This should not be viewed as investment advice, my friends. But thank you very much for joining it. Please tell a friend. As far as intellectual property rights, yes, we have copyrights, we have trademarks, we have registered marks, we have patents on the processes by which we derive this data. Now, that data is unusual option activity, meaning that we have an algorithm, one for calls, one for puts, that basically searches for blocks that are bought on the offer of either of those two, calls or puts, and then we talk about those posted up on our password secured website. Occasionally, a couple times a week, we talk about them on CNBC. And we appreciate all of you telling your friends, as well as many of the nice wishes that you have sent our way this week. Thank you. As far as intellectual property, please just ask before you use it, because we'll be happy to provide it to you, but we would really request that you ask us prior. All right, let's take a look at this one. Suncor Energy. I keep glancing over to see how much I'm picking up here. Suncor Energy, the stock $13.34. As you see, just over the past month, that's a 1-month chart, you see it falling by, let's see, right around $3 and call it 60 cents, $3, because energy prices have been soft, and Suncor is a big producer up in Canada in the tar sands, and when crude oil prices are not robust, when people are not just clamoring for crude oil, getting it out of the tar sands is expensive. So this is one that reacts very quickly to the downside in particular. Not to the upside, because of course this is a lengthy process, but to the downside, because once you have all that gooky tar sand and you're trying to take the oil and separate it from those sands, that is an expensive process. When crude oil falls beneath $40 a barrel, which is where it's been, that is bad for these guys in particular. It's not good for any energy producer, but in particular, Suncor, it's bad. But here's what we saw today. They stepped in, started buying calls, 10,000. Now, 10,000 lot is, since every option is 400 shares of stock, is a 1,000,000 share equivalent. So a 1,000,000 share equivalent of the October 13 calls. Those are in the money calls, my friends. So getting a fill here. In the money calls for Suncor is a bullish trade, as it would be for anything. And look what they paid, 94 cents. So they're worth 32 cents. How do I know that? Because in the money, ITM, intrinsic value of these 13 calls with the stock at 13.32 is 32 cents. So they paid, in the neighborhood of 60 cents above that of extrinsic amount for these calls. And so what we will also point out is they sold the 14 calls against it. So they're basically getting into a spread here. Now, this one, interesting as it is one that I really thought was pretty spectacucular. So after a $3.60 sell-off, I said, give me some of that. So I am in these calls, these October 13 calls. All right. Let's get to the second of our 3 at 3. That's the name after all. But before we do that, marketrebellion.com/get started. Many of you are thinking right about now, boy, I wish I knew a little bit more about puts. I wish I knew a little bit more about volatility and how to trade it. You would be smart to be thinking that way, folks, and we can help you. You go to marketrebellion.com/get started. We can help you learn spreads. We can help you learn about volatility. We can help you with futures trading, stock trading, as well as, of course, cryptocurrency trading. Bang. Check it out, marketrebellion.com get started. And now, without further delay, the second of our 3 at 3, which is Coca-Cola. Coke, they were buying calls in here the 23rd of October, so not the regular October expiration. So I emphasize this whenever I see this and I'm explaining it to you. The fact that they're buying not regular October, but the week after regular October expiration, so let's say October expiration is the 16th, and then you add 7 days to that, so the 23rd would be the next expiration, 30th would be the next expiration. They're not buying the third Friday of the month. They're buying the fourth Friday of the month of October, which is the 23rd. October 51 calls. They paid $1.41 for these calls. Since every option is for 100 shares, that is $141 for each one of these, which means if you'd like to control 10 lot or 1,000 shares of stock equivalent, you can do that for $1,400. If you'd like to trade a 10,000 lot, that's $14,000 because you'd multiply by 100, $1.41, and you get 14,000. So I am in these Coca-Cola calls. You know Warren Buffett is in these Coca-Cola calls, and I'm happy to be in these. They were taking some off the table in their September purchases and rolling up and out to October, which is what we showed you. There is the stock. It's $50.40 right now, making a nice move from the lower left in July when it was more or less a $43 number to now $50.40. Let's get to the third of our 3 at 3, shall we? Bang. Freeport, FCX, Freeport McMoran. Infrastructure play, folks. We're seeing a ton of infrastructure plays. Freeport, as you see that little orange dot by it, that's because I think we had 3 different hits today for unusual option activity at different strikes. So when we talk about this and we say, hey, man, they're buying infrastructure plays, they're buying Vale, they're buying Freeport, they're buying all these different infrastructure plays, you should be aware of that. This is one I'm bringing to you now because in addition to Vale, which I talked about on the halftime report, we see Freeport as a return buyer comes back in and buys 5,000 more, which is 500,000 share equivalent in Freeport. They bought the 21 calls with the stock at $17.26. As many of you know, I don't like buying that far out of the money. I rarely do. So what instead I do is I buy the 18 calls and I sell the 20s. Or I buy the 19 calls and I sell the 21s, something like that. You have to decide what's appropriate for you. I like addressing both time decay, which is theta, T, and I like addressing volatility, V, as well. And I've done that by doing a spread in this one, Freeport McMoran. There is some of the accumulation. As you see, it's way over 5,000 now. Those September 18s, these were the 21s in October, those September 18s have traded 14,400. The October 21s have traded 8,700. The November 20s have traded 4,800. These are all large contracts, folks. I like to follow when smart people, I assume most people that have this kind of money and are trading derivatives are fairly smart. When they're putting money down on infrastructure plays, they think they know something. I want to piggyback along with these people when they think they know something. So I am long Vale, I am long Freeport McMoran, I am long Mittal, symbol MT as well. Bang. All right, and I'd like to just give my friends at CNBC a quick shout out. Love those people. Love Bill Griffith, CNBC veteran for years and years and years. So many people have been so nice to reach out and say, hey, John, we heard your dad passed and we're really sorry. I appreciate that, folks. My brother Pete appreciates it. My brother Dave appreciates it. We all appreciate all of you, as well as our friends at CNBC for mentioning that. By the way, there's our Freeport graph. So just wanted to show you a quick picture. This is me on the far left with my brother David, my brother Paul, who passed away of ALS, my brother Pete, and my dad. We were all at Cal, where my dad and my brother Paul and I attended college or university, And he's posing here with his coach. That's a statue of Pappy Waldorf, who was a famous coach at Cal when my dad went to the Rose Bowl back in, I think it was 49. Anyway, that's the four of us and my father. And again, here's one that my friends at CNBC put up. Fabulous guy, my dad. Did so much for so many people and couldn't have had a better dad or a friend, and fully supportive of all these doctors, nurses, and so forth that also made that magic happen. Because especially when you're a surgeon, it's a team. There's a team around you, and my dad always recognized that. We appreciate it. We appreciate all of our family at CNBC and all of you for tuning in each day. Thank you, folks. I hope you have a safe and happy weekend, and let's get after it next week, shall we? Bang. Thank you.